everybody and welcome back to my channel. So it is a Monday morning and I'm really excited for this tutorial because although it's a very basic thing to do, a lot of people have always wanted to know how to do it properly, and I just thought I would share exactly how I make my enveloped back cushion covers. So essentially, if you don't know what an envelope back is, it means that it's a cushion cover with no fastenings whatsoever. It's just two pieces of fabric on the back that you fold over your cushion pad inside. So you don't need any zips, you don't need any special fastenings, buttons, buttonholes, nothing like that. It's just a really simple envelope cushion back. They're not difficult to make at all, so even if you are just starting out on your sewing journey, please just follow this video and have a go. I promise you, you will be so surprised with what you can achieve. And yes, I will definitely do a zip closure cushion cover as well, because a lot of you have asked me if I could do a video on that. So I will. I'm maybe going to do that one Friday or next week. Haven't decided yet. But it's on my list, don't you worry. So yes, let's get on and I will show you exactly how to make this. Okay, so for this project, all you need is some scraps of fabric, a pair of scissors, some pins and a tape measure or ruler, whichever you find easiest. Okay, so basically the pieces that you need to cut are laid out here. You need one piece for your front, for your cushion front, and two pieces for the back. So what you need to measure first is the size of your cushion pad, so what this cushion cover is going to cover. I actually don't have a cushion pad to hand, so I have just gone for a standard 30 centimetre square cushion pad, which is like the little 12-inch cushion pads, and I'm going to make my cushion cover to fit that pad. So because my pad measures 30 centimetres square, I have a 30 by 30 measurement, so I need to add a centimetre per side for my seam allowance. So now my front piece is going to be cut to 32 by 32 centimetres. Now for the back pieces, you need two rectangles of the same size, and they're only slightly rectangular. So they still need to be 32 centimetres wide, so the same width as your front, but you don't want it as long. We're going to overlap them. So basically you need to go more than half and then add a chunk of how much you want to overlap. So what I've done is, if I was going for half, mine would be 16 centimetres, and then I've just rounded it up and added roughly 10 centimetres, which was 26, but I just went down to 25 centimetres for the fabric that I had. So mine is going to be cut 32 by 25. So both back pieces need to be cut to that same size, and I've just laid them out like this so that you see that this part here will be overlapped, and that's what creates our envelope back. So this is my cushion front. Now it is square, I just can't fit it all in one shot. So once you've cut your cushion front, which would be the square or the rectangle to fit your cushion pad, plus the seam allowance, this is the opportunity that if you wanted to add any applique, or you wanted to put something on it, or if you wanted to embroider it, now would be the time to do it. So just bear that in mind when you're making this cushion, that it's better to add all your motifs and things while it's flat and it hasn't got any join on it. So something to think about now, but we are now going to just forget about this and move to our back pieces. So I have my two back pieces here. I am making this cushion cover out of loads of scrap upholstery fabric that I had, but hence why they're all a little bit different. So you're just going to get one of them, and what we need to do is finish one of the raw edges. So I'll try and pick the straightest side possible because the other one is a little bit frayed. So what you need to do is flip it over so it's wrong sides up, and we're going to create a rolled hem in one of the long edges. So here's my short edges, and I've got my long edge here, my long edge here. So I've just picked the straightest one that I could find. My cutting clearly wasn't that great this morning. So what we need to do is make a rolled hem on the edge. So we're going to fold it once by about a centimetre, and then I normally press it, and then I'll fold it again by a centimetre and press it. So I'm just going to do that for you now. Okay, so there's my rolled hem. Folded and pressed once, folded and pressed again. Now I've done mine roughly 1 centimetre. You can go a little bit less. If you want to go any more than that, if you want a really chunky hem on the edge, you need to allow more of a width for your rectangles when you're cutting them out. But I'm going on the basis that you're going to do maybe a 1 centimetre hem or less. So once you've folded and pressed, we're just going to pin this all the way along. And we're going to now sew a straight line as close to this open edge as possible. So this is our folded edge, and this inner edge is the one that's loose. That's where I can get my finger underneath. So we need to sew really, really close to this edge and try and keep it as straight as possible using the guides on your sewing machine. So once you've done that, you should end up with something that looks like this. So my straight line of stitching is really close to that folded open end. And then from the front, we've got a lovely neat straight line from this side. So now all we need to do is repeat this on our other rectangle. Okay, so now I have 2 rectangles, both with a rolled hem on one long end. Okay, so now we need our cushion front again, and you're going to place it on your table or your work surface, right side up. You're then going to get one of your rectangular pieces and lay that on top, right sides together, but making sure that the edges without the rolled hem are touching at the top. And if I move this down, you'll see that I've got my rolled hem here, and then again the right side of the cushion pad facing up here. And then we're just going to cover that with our other piece. So that lies on top here. So now if you look closely, you'll see the rolled hem of this edge here. And then if I press this, you can see the rolled hem of the piece underneath. So that's how much overlap I have between my back pieces, and that's why we call it an enveloped back. Now, if like me, you've got different fabrics for each one, you need to pick which one you want on show. So if you had 2 different types of fabric, basically whichever one you put touching your cushion front first is the one that's going to be on the show when you turn it right around the right way. So if, say, I wanted this funny print, this vintage print, to be the main one, I would move that out the way, lay this one so it's touching the right side, and then put that one over the top. So I see less of this red print and more of this vintage print. So once you've decided on your layout, you now need to pin all these 4 edges together. So now we're just pinning and sewing all the way around all 4 sides. So let's pin first. Okay, so now I have all 4 sides roughly pinned. We're now going to sew with a straight line all 4 edges of our cushion. So because of the calculations we worked out before, because we added 1 centimetre to each side, we just need to have 1 centimetre of seam allowance. If you added more, because you wanted your cushion pad to be looser, then you could add less seam allowance if you wanted to. So whichever calculations you did first, stick to those because they will change the original shape and size of your cushion. So because we added 1 centimetre of seam allowance, we're going to keep our seam allowances to 1 centimetre. So we're going to sew them at 10 millimetres. Okay, so once you've done that, you should have a lovely, neat straight line with your 1 centimetre seam allowance going all the way round. So now what we're going to do is neaten off the edges, and we're going to zigzag stitch to stop them fraying. But before we zigzag, a little tip is to just chop off the corners. So I'm going to grab my scissors, and on all 4 corners I'm just going to snip that edge off to see how my stitching is here, and I've cut close but not really close, so I've left a few millimetres of space between that point and the edge, and that means that when you're zigzagging these raw edges to stop them from fraying, yet there's less bulk in the corners for when we turn it around the right way. Okay, so once you've done your zigzag stitching, you should have something that looks like this. There will be little bits of fraying because if you're like me and you've used quite open weave upholstery fabric, but you can just snip these off afterwards after you've done your zigzagging. So now all we have to do is reach in between those rectangles and turn our cushion the right way around. So I'm just going to reach in and flip it all the way through, and then turn this one, and then you just need to get your fingers right into the corners and poke out all those corners, which if you've trimmed them should be a lot less bulky. And there you have it. So that's my cushion front and that's my envelope back, and you can see the crossover underneath. So this is how you put a pad in. You just slip it in one side and then almost like a pillowcase flip that over the other. And there you have it. Just remember to give it a little press all over and then it's ready for your cushion pad. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed that video. Hopefully it was clear enough and I haven't put you off sewing cushion covers. But I just love making these, and it's so good when you haven't got a zip, or a zip in the colour that you like, and then you remember, oh, I don't even need a fastening. I will say the bigger the cushion you go, the more overlap you do need. So I reckon as long as you've got a good size of overlap on the back of your cushion, the better. But if you do it too much, and if you have too much of an overlap, very difficult to get your cushion pad in and out. So there is a fine line, but if you just think, I normally go halfway and then add a good chunk. So the more you sew, the more you'll realise what you like and what you don't like. So yeah, I just really hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry about my weird mismatch of upholstery fabrics, but they're just fabrics that I had in my stash that were near me that I didn't mind chopping to bits. But yes, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment below if you have any questions, and good luck sewing your cushion covers. I can't wait to see them if you send me or tag me on Instagram. A lot of you have been tagging me on Instagram and things that you've made watching my videos during isolation, and it makes me so happy to see you making scrunchies and bags, and it makes me so happy. So thank you so much. And yes, I will see you soon for another video. Happy handmade, everyone.